There is a question that every Indian should be asking today. What actually makes you an Indian citizen? Think about it for a moment. Most of us have grown up believing that if we possess an Aadhaar card, a passport, a voter ID, a PAN card, a driving license, our identity and our citizenship are beyond question. But recent statements and clarifications from the Government of India have challenged that assumption. The government has reiterated that an Aadhaar card is not a proof of citizenship. That position has always been part of the Aadhaar Act. More recently, it has also clarified that even an Indian passport is a travel document and not conclusive proof of citizenship. Similar observations have been made regarding other government issued identity documents. For many Indians, this came as a surprise. If Aadhaar is not a proof of citizenship, if a passport is not conclusive proof of citizenship, if a voter ID card is not conclusive proof of citizenship, then what exactly proves that someone is an Indian citizen? This is not merely a legal question. It is a constitutional question. And more importantly, it is a question about the relationship between an individual and the Republic of India. Before we answer that question, we need to understand one important distinction that many of us never think about. Identity and citizenship are not the same thing. Identity answers one question: who are you? Citizenship answers a completely different question: to which sovereign nation do you legally belong? The law treats these as separate concepts. An Aadhaar card establishes identity for welfare schemes, taxation, banking, and digital authentication. A passport allows international travel. A PAN card identifies you for taxation. A driving license authorizes you to drive. A voter ID allows participation in elections if your name appears on electoral roll. Each document serves a different legal purpose. None of them, by themselves, creates citizenship. That distinction has existed in Indian law for years, but only recently has it entered public discussion. Now let us go back to the Constitution. When India adopted its Constitution in 1950, Articles 5 to 11 determined who became citizens of the newly independent republic. After that, Parliament enacted the Citizenship Act 1955. Even today, that law governs Indian citizenship. According to the Act, citizenship may be acquired by birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, or through incorporation of territory. Notice something important. The law talks about legal status. It does not say about citizenship exists because you possess a particular card. Citizenship exists because the law recognizes you as a citizen. The documents merely record or facilitate aspects of the legal relationship. Now comes the difficult question. If none of these documents is conclusive proof of citizenship, then what is? This is where things became complicated. India does not issue a universal citizenship certificate to every citizen. There is no single document that every Indian receives declaring that he or she is unquestionably an Indian citizen. Instead, citizenship may have to be established through a combination of facts and legal evidence. For some people, it may involve birth records. For others, it may involve proof of their parents' citizenship. For those who acquired citizenship through registration or naturalization, there are citizenship certificates. In other words, the answer depends upon how citizenship was acquired under the Citizenship Act. Legally, this makes sense. Practically, however, it creates uncertainty. And this uncertainty is what millions of ordinary Indians are now experiencing. Imagine an average citizen. He has paid taxes for decades. He has voted and participated in elections. He has traveled on an Indian passport. His Aadhaar is linked with his bank account. His PAN is linked with the income tax department. Every institution of the state has recognized him throughout his life. Then he suddenly hears that none of these documents conclusively prove that he is an Indian citizen. Naturally, he begins asking questions. If not these documents, then what? Should I preserve my birth certificate? What if I was born at a time when births were not properly registered? What if government records are incomplete? What if documents have been lost over the years? What exactly should an ordinary citizen produce if citizenship is ever questioned? These are practical questions. These are constitutional questions, and they deserve clear answers. The issue here is not whether the government is legally correct. The government is right in saying that identity, documents, and citizenship are different legal concepts. The issue is communication. Every citizen has spent decades believing that government issued documents represented official recognition of citizenship. When those assumptions are challenged, uncertainty naturally follows. In a constitutional democracy, uncertainty regarding citizenship should be minimized. Every citizen should know exactly where he or she stands. Every citizen should understand which documents are ordinarily relied upon. Every citizen should know the legal process through which citizenship is determined if a dispute ever arises. Legal certainty builds trust. Legal ambiguity creates anxiety. This debate also raises a larger philosophical question. What does it mean to belong to a nation? Is citizenship merely a document? Is it a legal relationship between the individual and the state? The Constitution chooses the second approach. Citizenship is not a piece of plastic. It is not a number printed on a card. It is a legal status recognized by law. The principle is sound, but the practical challenge is equally important. The law must not only define citizenship, it must also ensure that ordinary citizens clearly understand how that citizenship is recognized and protected. Because the rule of law depends not merely upon correct legal principles, it also depends upon public confidence in those principles. Today, India finds itself at an important constitutional movement. Technology has transformed governance, identity has become digital, documentation has become electronic, verification has become instantaneous. Yet, one of the oldest constitutional questions remains unresolved in the minds of many citizens. How do I prove that I belong to the Republic of India? That question deserves a clear, consistent, and authoritative answer. Not because citizenship has changed, but because public confidence depends upon legal clarity. A democracy is strongest when citizens know their rights, understand their duties, and possess certainty about their legal status. Citizenship is the foundation upon which every democracy stands. And when citizens are uncertain about that foundation, the conversation must move beyond politics and return to constitutional principles. Because in the end, a republic is not judged merely by how it governs. It is judged by how clearly it defines, protects, and reassures those who call it their nation. Thank you.